Hi, this is Dorothy with Scrapbooking, and today I'm showing you close to my heart's Stitched Together Workshop. It's the full kit with photo holders, sticker sheet, wonderful stickers, cardstock that coordinates, full instructions, sticker sheet, all the background papers, sticker sheet, lots of die cuts. Lots of die cuts. And if you're getting the hint, it's like doing quilts with paper. It's a very quilty, and I don't know that I don't remember doing quilt. That's a specialty paper with the strips, and this is definitely a specialty paper, which is denim. Gorgeous, love it. So this is kind of fun to do quilting. One of my ladies she decided scrapbooking wasn't her thing, and so she went into, guess what, quilting. And so I may have to give her some of these pages to display her quilt pictures on. So all of these cuttings, I'm going to show you the cuts because they can be a little not complicated, but a lot. It's just a lot. And so if you want to go through this with me, then, to see it, and then you can do it. So the first page is the specialty strips, and we're going to go right down the center and then cut 3-inch strips. So we're going to have 4 3-inch strips. Then we turn the strips and make 3-inch squares. So each square is going to have the diagonal strips running through it, and we are going to cut those 3-inch squares into triangles, into 2 right angles. So we're going to use the middle stripe as our means of cutting it down the center. You can either go point to point, or you can just use from point to point. Every single square is going to have a line going from point to point. So rather than use the point to point, I decided with my rail, it's so accurate that you can put the cutting line right on the edge of the rail and you nail your cut every single time. So I love that about my rail, my Fiskars rail cutter. So not too bad. If you have a good paper trimmer, then it's not bad at all. So full transparency, this is speeded up 275%. So you don't see how slow I move. So, otherwise it would be hours and hours and hours. So you can go over this if you want to do it while you're doing it, if you've got the kit. But sometimes it helps me, being a visual person, it helps me to see somebody do it. So this other quilty type paper with the chevrons is going to be 2 inches. So those are going to be 2-inch strips. And those don't end up being right on the line either. So don't get to thinking that it's like the 3 by 3. So these are 2 by 2s. So these 2 by 2 squares are also going to get cut into triangles. So pretty much everything that we're working with is triangles. And since they're squares that are cut down, they are going to be right angled triangles. And I will use the term hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse, if you remember your geometry, is the longest side of the right triangle. So, and I use that term only because you pretty much concentrate on the longer side of the triangle when you're putting these pages together. So finishing up those squares. And then we're going to go into some more squares with the little pinky color. And cut off my zip strip. And then another 2 strips that are 2 inches in width. I set my other piece aside, and one full strip will get 2-inch squares, and the other one just gets a couple of squares cut. So not really too bad. The instructions actually look scarier than when you start doing it. So I don't have a line to go with, so I'm having to go point to point. And when I say point to point, that means I put the points of the square, I put the square diagonally, and the points are in the groove, the cutting groove. So that way you get a pretty accurate cut of your triangles. So our next paper is going to be sapphire, and cutting 4 1/4 inch strips, and then the last one is like a 3 1/4. And it's going to get cut down to a square, and the wider piece is going to be into 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 and 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'll set those aside. Next piece is going to be green apple. It really looks like a Granny Smith, doesn't it? So this is going to be cut into 3 1/4 inch. So 3 1/4, 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 and 3 1/4. So we've got a couple of places for your 4 by 6 pictures and your 3 by 4 pictures. And these strips are going to be 2 1/8. So the 1/8 of an inch is right in between the 2 and the 2 1/4. So, don't get worried about that. It's just the line in between 2 and 2 1/4. And then these are 1/4 inch strips. Those are actually, the purpose of those is for journaling. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do these cuts here. So these are going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 and a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So those are all photo mats except for the journaling strips. So there we go. Now I'm going to put the trimmer aside, and I'm going to start building layout 1. And it looks like a quilt. It looks just like a quilt. It's so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and usually cut the pieces apart so that it's pretty easy to put them with each of their piles. But this one is so easy that don't get scared by all those little stars either. That kind of sent me on a tailspin for a while. It took me a while to get this thing out to do it, but it really wasn't as bad as I thought. I always make it more awful than what it is, much harder than what it is. I don't know why I do that to myself. Do you do that to yourself? Good grief. Why am I my own worst enemy? So I'm going to pop out. These are for the layout 1. And so they get some more little triangles, and you don't have to cut these. Yay. Just setting those papers aside, they're kind of getting in the way. So that's going to be the background. So I'm kind of taking all these apart. Now, if you wanted to cut out save that blue piece, or even the little red pieces to use the the carrier sheet that holds the triangles. You could probably do something cool with those. So I'm going to set mine aside. And I popped out all my pieces that I needed. So I need to get my trimmer back and take off these zip strips. Those are going to be for the very last layout with all those little stars. So this is such a nice background. It's just perfect for all the busyness of the quilt. You know, it was just perfect for it. Even though it's got a dot pattern in it, it doesn't at all interfere with, you know, all of the stripes and activity that's going on in the quilt pattern. So I'm just kind of putting down all the pieces that I need for each of the background pages. I'm just kind of counting them out. So they're right there. I can kind of put them on top of the page. It somehow helps me to make things a little bit more organized. So I feel like I've got all of my ducks in a row, as it were, to start. So these die cuts are going to be the center of the little quilt stars. And I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. So they tell you that they give you the measurements, so it's like 2.5 inches over to the point, except that it's not the point, it's the hypotenuse. So there you go. The hypotenuse is there, so it's like a 1/2 inch from the end with the hypotenuse. So that's the long end of the triangle. And so then I'm going to run another one right next to it. And so it starts making part of a square. So you put your little squares in there on the diagonal. And then you can just run. It takes a little bit of thinking. To go through all of these little squares. You just want to pay attention and look at your instructions to see that you're putting things in the right place. So the little triangles, the die cuts, are going to be the points going up and down. So because you've got all these right angles, it makes it very easy to put them together. So you see that you've got the hypotenuse of the right triangle are going to be kind of facing each other. Kind of looks like rabbit ears. So it's cute, right? I like it. So I was thinking, you know, I wasn't even really planning on getting this kit because I don't quilt and I like quilts. But then I thought, you are so silly because you've got your great-grandmother's quilt and you've got some really amazing items from that my grandmother sewed. And so what I'm going to do is take pictures of those things and put them on these pages. Because, I mean, I don't even know how old. I mean, how old is a quilt that your great-grandmother made? Pretty doggone old. So I've got it put away, and I don't even know what the whole thing looks like all stretched out. So I'm going to pull it out and, you know, put it on my king-size bed and take a picture of it that way and make sure my dogs don't jump on it. Good grief, that'd be a nightmare because I'm sure the material is very tender, or not tender, but delicate at this point. So if you look, then all of the long pieces of the triangle are just making a straight line. So that makes it pretty simple. So it's not like you're really measuring, you're just using a straight edge. Then you put your square on a diagonal, and there you go. It's kind of fun how all these right triangles are making squares all on their own. Even though this is speeded up, I'm still showing you that I have to think to be able to put them down in the right way. So see, when you put the triangle down the right way, then it made that little empty excuse me, little empty square with the background showing through. Excuse me. So I think once you see this, then it doesn't seem so overwhelming. Now, if you notice, I've got the one triangle pointed in the wrong direction. There you go, Dorothy. See, when I said that the hypotenuses were going to sort of face each other, that's what I mean. The two long sides of the triangle face towards each other to get the right look, the right kind of cat ear look. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all the information below about this kit. Like I said, there's only a few left. It really was a very popular kit if you haven't gotten it. So it'll be available for you to get, but you've got to go quickly. And, frankly, you could get your, whatever paper and cut these things and make your own quilt pattern. So, like the little white squares are just like 2-inch squares. So you could totally make a pattern yourself without having this particular paper, which would be very cool for whatever you have to go with it. So I'm going to play a little music and then I'll come back on the other side. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so and ring the bell, and I've got quite a few videos out there, and I'll have quite a few more, so I'll keep on going with this. So I'll be back on the other side. enjoyed the music. If you notice that across from each of the white squares is the same paper, so that kind of helps keep your eyes calm when it's starting from all the different patterns. So by having the same papers opposite each other, kind of lends a system to what seems to be chaos, but it's not chaos at all. So I like this green apple background for the pictures to go with, as the mats for the pictures. It just looks, it's just a little bit of contrast, something a little bit different in there. So I really like that. I love those little rabbit ears. They're just so cute, little cat ears. So we're coming to a close of the first layout 1. And look at all the beautiful stickers that come with this. Our stickers are just absolutely beautiful. It just amazes me. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of the stickum off, or not off, but I'm just kind of covering it up with the anti-static powder so that when I want to put pictures onto the photo mats, they're not going to stick. So the flowers and the embellishments are rising a little bit above the pictures. So number 1, you've got dimension in your scrapbook, and there's an adorable little ladybug. And you have more dimension with the buttons. And if you notice, I am using, for all the buttons that are going on these layouts, I am using my shimmer brush in kind of the smoothie color and the like candy apple red. And number 1, you get a really good coloring with the wood with these shimmer brushes, surprisingly so. And plus, you get a little bit of shimmer. Whoops. My red went wacky. Okay, well, there's places for embellishments. Oops. It was a little bit too much in the brush and it went flying. Dang it. But, like I said, that's more places for an embellishment. So anyway, this red just comes out so bright on those wooden buttons. Who knew? I sure didn't. Because it says to either ink them with your ink pad or with a marker. And so instead of doing the marker, I thought I would try my shimmer brushes because everything's better with a shimmer brush on it. My dogs are going nuts. Ginger's going crazy under me. Silly girl. So I'm almost finished here. I just need to find some little things to cover up my boo-boos. So that's what the stickers, that's good use for the stickers, is a little heart, little flower, maybe another button. Have to sort of wait for the buttons to dry before I put them on there. Yeah, so that'll be another button. Because can you really have too many embellishments? I don't think so. So you want to be careful when you shake your shimmer brushes. Don't do it over your layout. So that's the lesson of the day, ladies. Just be careful with the shimmer brushes. Usually it takes quite a bit to get the ink to come down, but I think I must have squeezed, that red one was a brand new one, and I squeezed it extra hard to bring the ink down. But I am in love with it because it's such a vibrant red. And it didn't get sucked up all by the wood. So, okay, so there's a little happy sticker that's going there. And it was actually supposed to be there. So, see, it's like I knew what I was doing. Another little heart. These are cute. I'm really glad that I bought this workshop kit because I really like it. Love all the flowers and I love the bright colors. And it was fun to do, and it was a bit of a challenge. And you can take these ideas and do your own thing with them. That's what's really cool. So you can make your own quilting patterns with whatever paper you come up with. So I'm just going to put some foam dots down and then set the buttons right on top of the foam dots. And so we have some nice dimension between the flowers and the buttons. We've got a good amount of dimension on our layouts. So there we go. That's the first layout for Stitched Together. And I love it. So I hope you guys like it too. And don't forget to subscribe, and all of my information to purchase the products will be down below in the comments. So thanks for watching. Bye now. Woohoo!